Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. As you guys know, it's the only thing that I ask for. So at the time of this recording, the Nasdaq and the Nasdaq 100 are very close to hitting new all-time highs if they haven't hit it already. Bitcoin is around $67,800, depends a little bit on the exchange, and Ethereum is around 2,500 and $20 or so, also depending on the exchange that you're looking at. TLT, the bonds, have recovered and stabilized a little bit, which is good, is what we want to see. But once again, we had some sell-offs, and here we are with another major index making a new all-time high. This is in line with what I've said before around the fact that the central banks have removed the risk from the central banks have removed the risk from the stock market. Can you have down days? Can you have corrections? Can you have drops? Sure, but you wait a little bit of time and you are back to new all-time highs. Why? Because they keep devaluing your currency. Not in the, this time around also, the CPI style of inflation, but the majority of it comes in the form of currency debasement, of money supply increase, in which things like stocks, real estate go up in price because the currency is being debased on that side, where the banks are in the middle controlling who gets the liquidity. Now, I do expect, because we are entering the final stage of the election period, I do expect volatility to pick up. I do expect a lot of news stories about, the orange man doing bad things coming up. All these planted stories, right? I'm guessing now, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some old case that comes up all of a sudden, and then somebody's filing a lawsuit against him. You guys know what type of thing I'm talking about. Or another insider confirmation that he's somehow the new version of a certain person that existed in Germany in the 1930s and 1940s. Now I let you fill the blank on that one. That is all to be expected, and it's all normal. I don't think it's going to resonate because we have been numbed to those kind of accusations. Unfortunately, when you state and overstate something so many times that it loses its efficacy. Now, I'm a bit more concerned about the remainder of Trump's rallies. I hope that there's no other attempt, particularly in New York. Madison Square Garden is a huge arena. I hope that he has bulletproof glass and that, we don't end up with a nasty situation. Because you see, every poll that comes out is now putting him either ahead or very, very close. Now, for you to have an idea, against Clinton and Biden, he was very far behind. So he was 6 points behind with Clinton, I think, or 5.5, and 8 or 9 against Biden. And he won in 2016, and he almost won 2020. Which means that if he's somehow tied up with her, that means he's probably very, very far ahead, because they always understate his performance on election day. And one of the things that you can see that a lot of people is starting to understand that she's very far behind is that CNN is becoming more objective, asking harder questions, criticizing her and her word salad gibberish much more, like Van Jones criticizing her, Anderson Cooper criticizing her. And the reason is actually quite simple, in case you guys don't know. Now, if they are convinced that there's a very good chance that she's not going to win, they are going to throw her under the bus to give the appearance to the audience that they are somehow objective. You see, if she loses, she and Tim, they are finished politically. They are out, never to be seen again. But these guys working in the media, they will still be here. and they want to have jobs as analysts, as strategic advisors, as as experts in the election cycles. And the next election is 2026, the midterms, right? So they are making sure that they can say, hey guys, I was objective. Remember, I was objective at the time. So please, still give me a job. That's the purpose. So if you guys not tune in to CNN and you get, completely surprised, oh my God, they are criticizing her and they're becoming much more objective. What happened? That's the reason why. It's pure self-interest. It's throw under the bus, make her swim with the sharks, and as long as I can stay afloat and have a job coming 2026. That's the idea. Now, I think if he wins, I think risk assets, particularly crypto, will do very, very well. I think if she wins, you may have a sell-off for a while until the market says, okay, we remove the uncertainty of not knowing who was going to win, and liquidity keeps on growing exponentially. So actually, asset prices will keep on going up. But you'll probably have a corrective period. And as I've said, to me, between her winning or Trump winning is the difference between a 2020-2021 cycle or a 2016-2017 cycle, respectively. Now, I saw something today on Crypto 7 stream, and he was talking about how Bitcoin sold off to 65,000 something. And it was due, and I think he watched another stream where the guy was saying that it was due to the fact that the dollar is at 104, which is too high, so crypto gets subdued, and that's why we sold off to 65. Now, I completely disagree with that take. Not Crypto 7's take, the other guy's take that I think 7 watched, because this is a classic situation where what we've done, and I've covered that in the video on the day that happened, I said we are at 65,300 or so, right? There is nothing more than retesting the exponential moving average, the 20-day exponential moving average, and the 50-day simple moving average. We're just retesting support. We retest it, and I said it here in the video, we can still go to 63,200. That should be extremely strong support. Worst case scenario would be something like 62,700. That would be even stronger support. But most likely, we stop here. And that was the bottom when I made that video. But you see, the problem is, when you have YouTube content creators, is they need to come up with narratives. You see, if I come here and I say, yeah, we just retested the 20-day exponential moving average and the 50-day simple moving average. Look how boring it is. Half the audience already disconnected. And I can do that in 20 seconds or less. That's not very helpful. I need to create a story around it, right? I need to go out and try to fetch why this is happening, etc. So I'll give you just this example, because I've seen people that don't understand what the DXY or the DXY is. The DXY is the dollar in the dollar index. That means it's not the dollar versus random things. It's the dollar versus a basket of other currencies. So when the value is very high, that means there's a shortage of dollars. So the dollar is highly valued. There's a short of liquidity in dollars compared to other currencies. So the value goes much higher. So for example, in 2022, it was around 120, and that's why the dollar was higher than the euro, which is very rare to happen. Now, when we go above 112, 115, it starts to become a problem because a lot of countries have dollar-denominated debt, as well as a lot of foreign companies. Now, these countries and companies cannot produce more dollars because only the Fed can do it. So you start having a shortage of dollars, and they need to basically print a lot of their own currency, go into the market, and swap it for dollars, which pushes the dollar even higher because it's removing liquidity in dollars from the market. When the dollar index is very low, like in the 90s, for example, 91, 92, like we had in 2021, that means that there's too much liquidity in dollars versus the liquidity available in the other currencies. What I'm trying to say with this is it's just a comparison between liquidity in dollars versus liquidity in other currencies. For example, 104, which is the level we are today, was the same level, almost the same level that Bitcoin that was in March 2024 when Bitcoin was hitting all-time highs. So what happened? It was about the same level of May 2023 when Pulse Chain hit all-time highs. So what happened? Because apparently that should be impossible, right? But here we were. By the way, here's another one. When Bitcoin hit 69,000 in November of 2021, the dollar index was like low 90s. But then it hit 104, 103.5, 104 in March of 2024, and Bitcoin was at all-time highs. By that logic, that couldn't happen. That could only happen when the dollar index would go below 90, right? But another one, the dollar index was much higher, I think at around 108 or something like that, when the S&P and the Nasdaq 100 hit new all-time highs after the 2022 sell-off, meaning new all-time highs versus 2021 and January of 2022 for the S&P 500. However, the dollar index was substantially higher. We still got new all-time highs in the stock market. You see, if Japan, I'm just going to give you this example. If Japan, Europe, and China debase, and the UK debase their currency by a factor of 10, and the US debases the currency by a factor of 8, the dollar index will go up. But the currency is still getting debased. See what I mean? The dollar index will be stronger because the other ones are debasing the currency at a higher rate than the US, but all of them are debasing the currency. So asset prices will still go up, but the dollar index will keep on being higher. Now, what you don't want is the dollar index too high to the point where countries and companies start to struggle, because then you insert the uncertainty of potential bankruptcies and collapses, which means it freezes liquidity in the market, which causes prices to come down. See the point? But this was an excellent. It was very good that I actually caught a little bit of Crypto 7's live stream, because I caught this point about the Dixie, and from time to time people do make this argument. But then, what if Bitcoin next month is at, as I predicted, by the end of November will be above 80K. What if Bitcoin is above 80K and the dollar index is at 103 or 104, same place? Then what? Then the whole theory falls apart, right? Another good thing, Boppy is above 1.6 million market cap, which is good. We had that big pump into 2.5 million. We retraced back to 800K, and now we made again a 2x, which is good. Dolphy is the only one that is not performing that well. I got in at, I think, 685K, and now it's at 500K or so. So I'm a bit down on that one. There's not a big problem. I also got in the super, 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 super high risk coin. I put only $300 in Little Frog. I will put the contract address in the description. I got in at 95 or 92K market cap. I will need to check that, and it's now at around 120. Super high risk, like incredibly high risk. I actually expect to lose all my money, but I thought, look, let's have a little bit of fun. Let's see what happens, right? Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I catch a magnificent one without expecting it. I mean, who knows, right? Then I still think that we are going to be in for 80K Bitcoin second half of November. And I've been saying this for a long time. I just saw, once again, I think it was, I forgot the name of his channel, but it's a big crypto channel, basically trashing and destroying Ethereum once again. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think Ethereum will gap up, something like 60, 50, 60% in like 20 days, and will catch everyone off guard, and then everybody will like Ethereum once again. This is why I always prioritize lottery tickets in the Ethereum environment, because if they are already doing so well, despite Ethereum performing like garbage, what's going to happen when everybody gets convinced that Ethereum is once again a unicorn leader and the very strong ecosystem that it is? What's going to happen? Good question, right? We'll see. I'm holding my breath also to check how 7G is going to perform. I hope it does very well. I expect Crypto 7 to probably drop it maybe the week after the election. That's my little prediction. Let's say he's going to drop the coin a week after the election. Let's see if I'm correct. Meaning, so the election's on the 5th, and it's on a Tuesday, so it would come out on the week of the 11th of November. That's my guess. We'll see if I'm right. I wish him the best of luck, as I've said. Once again, it's another lottery ticket I have in place. I am thinking about reinforcing my core positions a little bit into Pulse Chain, PulseX, Icosa in particular. I like to pick the one that is usually, like, people have asked me, which one do you pick? Do you pick Incentive Token? Do you pick PLS? Do you pick Icosa? Do you pick? Usually I pick the one that has either dumped the most or rallied the least, because I think all of them will do well. So I say, okay, the X has gone up 200%, for example, and PLS has gone up only 40%. I will probably put more money in PLS than X. But this is me. This is how I look at it, because I think all of them will do very, very well. So that's how I try to do it. Is it a good strategy? Is it a bad strategy? I mean, we'll see, right? At the end, I will see if I was right or wrong. But in any case, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video of today. Don't forget to drop that like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. So I really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget, volatility is poised to increase, as it's typical around as we get closer to the election period. But I wish you a very good weekend, and you also enjoy a little bit of rest. It's not everything's about money. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.